Let's not forget John Durham, the U.S. Attorney out of Connecticut. I think the important thing that Barr said today that is important for people to understand, because I've been highlighting this too, that people are, it's getting lost on people. It wasn't just that they used the Democrat and Hillary Clinton dirt, gave it to fake news and used that as evidence for the FISA. What Cash and myself and Trey Gowdy and John Ratcliffe, what we said for a long time is you need to really know what else is in there too. And what you're finding out today is they didn't wait for the Carter Page FISA to spy on the campaign. They actually were recording their conversations with listening devices, and then they decided to only put a piece of that to the court. They left out the exculpatory evidence. And you have to remember, we fought so hard for so long. I had to come on your show nearly every night because DOJ and the dirty cops and the FBI and the dirty cops there refused to give us what we called at the time the tech cuts. We had to fight over the tech cuts. Remember, we had to threaten to impeach officers of the Trump administration, okay, in order to get these tech cuts. Well, now you find out why we wanted these tech cuts. Let me talk about McCabe, okay? Let me talk about McCabe, because McCabe wrote a book that came out a few months ago. And at one point, I had to walk into a meeting where they tried to kick me out. And Rod Rosenstein, at the time, the acting attorney general, the deputy attorney general, comes up to me and says, hey, you're not going to be allowed in this room. I said, sorry, I'm getting a bait. I'm in this room. I'm the chair of the Intelligence Committee. I thought at the time that it was the Democrats and Nancy Pelosi that were trying to kick me out of the room. It was actually McCabe. Now, look, that's obstruction of a congressional investigation. So, you know, I think McCabe has a lot of other problems that he needs to worry about, and he probably ought to start with actually reading the IG report.
So the men and women at home need to know what's happening. A lawyer at the FBI creates fraudulent evidence, alters an email. That is in turn used as the basis for a sworn statement to the court that the court relies on. Am I stating that accurately?
That's correct. That is what occurred.
From my time at the Department of Justice and from my time in law enforcement, any responsible leader, when hearing that you're talking about sending in spies and sending in a wiretap on any presidential nominee, should say, what in the hell are we doing? And by the way, the people up the chain who are saying we didn't know, if you had responsible leadership, there's no more important decision than you make. I can tell you, when I was at DOJ, if someone said, let's tap Hillary Clinton, or let's tap Bill Clinton or John Kerry, the people there would have said, what in the hell are you talking about?
They never told Trump about the concerns. Is it fair to say there came a point to where surveilling Carter Page became unlawful?
I will let the court decide that. The court has this report and will make that decision.
Let's put it this way. If you don't have a legal foundation to surveil somebody and you keep doing it, is that bad?
Absolutely.
Is that spying?
It's not. It's illegal surveillance. It's not court authorized.
Whatever illegal surveillance means, they did it.
Hello and welcome, fellow digital soldiers, to True Reporting. It is the 11th of December, and on today's podcast, we can see that the media will not cover the Horowitz testimony, so I'm bringing it to you here today in a form of an intro video. We also have, coming at us from the Epic Times, William Barr has suddenly become chatty, and he's provided quite an information dump. This guy is going crazy. He is going right up against the deep state. He's going right up against these criminals because they need to get it in the end. We're also going to be going over a Incarnate ET thread. This guy puts out incredible information and also some memes, guys. So a jam-packed podcast, to say the least. But before we get into it today, my friends, would you please welcome my sponsor, Noble Gold. Hey guys, Thomas from True Reporting here. Did you know that gold is up 18%? That's right. It's been like that since the month of June, and we all know why. It's because Trump is relentless against the Federal Reserve. We know that our money is not worth anything unless it's backed by gold. So why not back your 401k or IRA with gold and go to Noble Gold and tell them Thomas sent you from True Reporting. You call this number 1-877-646-5347 and tell them Thomas sent you, and it'll be worth your while. Thanks, guys, and enjoy the podcast. All right, guys, it's good to have you aboard. Before we get into today's podcast, would you please go ahead and subscribe to my backup channel, True Reporting 2.0. That is just in case censorship gets even more crazier. Also, guys, would you please go ahead and click the notification bell so when I post to this channel, you'll be the first to know. And finally, guys, would you please go ahead and click the like button? The more likes that this video receives, the more times it is recommended to other viewers, thus more eyes on the truth. And with that being said, my friends, let's go ahead and hop into it. This is True Reporting. So we see William Barr has suddenly become chatty, and he's provided quite an information dump. We could see here in a video appearance on NBC News at Wall Street Journal CEO Counsel, Attorney General Barr provided the same basic information and views about the U.S. intelligence community's actions against the Trump campaign in 2016 and 2017. A criminal investigation, criminal, my friends, is underway and being led by the U.S. Attorney John Durham. Just like POTUS says, just like I say, this is the tip of the iceberg with the Horowitz drop right here, the IG report. Then we will have Durham, and POTUS has said that he can't wait for that to come out. Then what happens? Third and finally is D-Class. That will be from Barr, and that will be the nuke hitting the world, my friends, hitting the deep state and decimating it right in front of our very faces. Again, the media will not touch the Horowitz testimony, and we have to bring it to you, right? This is our, you have these investigative journalists out there, me, Red Pill, Linda Paris, you have all these people on Twitter, Methods, and you have Tracy Beans out there doing a great job, and this is the news. We are the news, my friends. It continues saying Barr was motivated to make the public statements he explained by misreporting and confusion around the Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz's report issued on Monday. It found serious government surveillance abuses, but no evidence of political bias on part of the offending FBI officials and agents. That will be brought forward with Durham, my friends. Below are 24 points, very important, guys, that Barr felt the need to make after the release of the Horowitz report. All of the information is attributed to Barr. Don't expect Durham's findings to be announced before late spring or summer of 2020. The FBI did spy on the Trump campaign. That's what electronic surveillance is. Regarding FBI actions in surveilling Trump campaign associates, it was a travesty and there were many abuses. From day one, the FBI investigation generated exculpatory information tending to points to the target's innocence and nothing that corroborated Russia collusion. Absolutely, guys. And again, people are saying this is taking too long. This is taking forever. Perfection takes time, my friends. Do you want to see these people arrested? I do, so I'm going along with what they are doing because it's all a movie, guys. We're watching it in real time. It says here, it's an quote, big deal to use U.S. law enforcement and intelligence resources to investigate the opposing political party, and I cannot think of another recent instance where this happened. Evidence to start the FBI's investigation into Trump's associates was, in quote, flimsy from the start, and based on the idea that Trump aide George Papadopoulos expressed he may have had pre-knowledge of a Democrat National Committee computer hack. However, it was suggestion and a vague allusion to the fact that the Russians may have something they can dump. By that time, May 2016, there was already rampant speculation online and in political circles that the Russians had hacked Hillary's emails in 2014, and they might surface. So the idea that Papadopoulos' comment showed pre-knowledge of the Democratic National Committee hack and dump is a big stretch. It was, in quote, wrong for the FBI to presume the Trump campaign was part of a plot. They should have gone to the campaign and discussed their suspicions. The normal thing to do would be to tell the campaign and that there could be attempted foreign interference. There is no legitimate explanation as to why the FBI didn't do this. The FBI's explanation for this was they only, in quote, do defensive briefings if they are certain there's no chance they're tipping someone off. But this is simply not true, isn't plausible, and doesn't hold water because our intelligence officials and President Obama repeatedly contacted directly the Russians, the guilty party, to tell them to cut it out. If the purpose was to protect the election, you would have given the Trump campaign a defensive briefing. You could have disrupted any foreign activity in time to protect the U.S. election. As to the FBI's motive, that's why we have Durham. I'm not saying the motivations were improper, but it's premature to say that they weren't. The Inspector General operates differently as an internal watchdog. Horowitz's approach is to say that if people involved gives reasonable explanation for what appears to be wrongdoing, and if he cannot find documentary or testimonial evidence to the contrary, he accepts it. Contrary to much reporting, Horowitz did not rule out improper motive. He did not find documentary or testimonial evidence of improper motive. Those are two different things. Instead of talking to the Trump campaign, the FBI secretly, in quote, wired up sources and had them talk to 4 people affiliated with the Trump campaign in August, September, and October of 2016. That is treason. All of the information from this surveillance came back exculpatory regarding any supposed relationship to Russia and specific facts. But the FBI didn't inform the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court that approved wiretaps against former Trump campaign volunteer Carter Page 4 times. At one point early on, the FBI didn't have enough probable cause for a wiretap warrant, so they took the, in quote, Steele dossier information against Trump, in quote, which they'd done nothing to verify, and used that to get wiretaps. Illegal. The wiretaps allowed the FBI to go back and capture Page's communications, emails, and other material from weeks, months, and even years ago. Should the 4 FBI applications to wiretap Trump campaign aid Carter Page have ever been made? Considering there were 17 critical omissions, love that number, 17 critical omissions or errors by the FBI, making it appear they had better evidence than they had. This is the meat of the issue. And, in quote, if you spend time to look at what happened, you'd be appalled. The FBI withheld from the court all of the exploratory information and the lack of reliability of the main FBI source, Christopher Steele, who was being paid by the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign to find evidence connecting to President Trump to Russia. The major takeaway, in my friends, is that after the election in January, the FBI finally talked to one of Steele's important sources to try to verify some of the, in quote, dossier information and sourcing as they are required to do. This Steele source told the FBI he didn't know what Steele was talking about in the dossier, and that he told Steele that the information he provided was in fact suspicion and theory. At that point, guys, it was clear the dossier was a sham. Yet, the FBI didn't even tell the court and continued to get wiretaps based on the dossier. Further, the FBI falsely told the court that this source of Steele's had proven reliable and truthful. In fact, what the source told the truth was about the dossier was garbage. It's hard to look at this and not think it was gross abuse. Were the 4 Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act judges who approved the wiretap against Trump associate Carter Page badly misled by the FBI? Absolutely. Are people going to be held accountable, including at the very top, guys, of our intelligence agencies and or FBI? Well, they're all gone. The whole Russia collusion hype was a bogus narrative hyped by an irresponsible press that proved entirely false in the end. Are former FBI Director James Comey and former FBI official Andy McCabe and others implicated in Durham's investigation? I've said I think in that group there was a failure of leadership. Quoting the Inspector General, the explanations he received were not satisfactory. You can draw your own conclusions. So yes, they were implicated in it, and yes, they will be going to prison. Why haven't you already thrown people in prison? These things take time. Exactly. Perfection takes time. The government has to have proof beyond a reasonable doubt before we indict. And my friends, what is there, 189,000 indictments, guys? When the American public, the sheep, the people who are asleep are brought, this is going to slam into their face. Their world will be turned upside down. So everything has to be perfection, guys. Nobody is going to be indicted and go to jail unless that standard is met. It has to be perfect. In his interviews this week, Barr had provided a treasure trove of information about what stands to be one of the most important investigations into our U.S. intelligence community of our time. His signposts indicate we expect a shakeup of a system that may have been broken for, in quote, decades. My friends, this is massive. This will take time. Do not lose patience. Do not lose faith. We are going to get to the bottom of this, and these three-letter agencies, former presidents, congressmen, senators, governors, political people out there are going to go to jail. Let's get on to this ET thread real quick. All right, guys, from @incarcerated_ET. Please follow this gentleman on Twitter. He puts out incredible information. I, my friends, am about to blow your mind. Whoever figured this out, he says, you are amazing. They avoided freedom of info requests due to misspellings. Plain sight hidden. Biden equals Bikeland, Biden. Clinton, Seiton or Clunkton. Bush, Boosh or Bosch. Obama, Obarna, Obomo. Comey, Corny, which we've been seeing, people have already documented that. The Comey and the Corny, right? It was there in front of us. All these are misspelled in the IG report, guys. The Ukraine call with Obama, when the ambassador's name was misspelled in the transcripts, it was always there. Comment, you know what, is Cornet Pling Pang. This piece is a game changer. Was the clue given to us from the deep state, Drumpf? Remember that? Donald Drumpf? This is what they were doing, guys. They were mocking us, smocking us. Remember when POTUS tweeted that out? My friends, this is what they're doing. They are misspelling words on purpose in the transcripts, within tweets. They're mocking us, and now we're mocking them back in the IG report. You can see this is a troll fest. It is beautiful to witness this and to be a part of it. Don't forget, Nadler equals Knackler, Pelosi equals POC, and others. Literally laughing at us with it right there. Popcom ready? Let's see. I love how he does this. Let's see Soren Haynes. This is huge and could result in a lot of litigation and paybacks by corrupted contractors. Now check this post out right here. Where we go one, we go all. Misspellings matter. Sentence formation matters. Learn, you know who. This is mind-blowing, guys. This is a back and forth trade-off. So, whoever figured that out, exactly, you are amazing. They avoided freedom of info requests due to misspellings. Wow. So, my friends, let's move into some memes to round off the podcast. All right, guys, coming at us from Tracy Beans, @TracyBeans. Please follow her on Twitter. The legacy media is not airing Horowitz talking about the FISA abuse. This is absolutely sick from the media. Sick. Half the country is not hearing about the IG talk and about the FISA abuse on Carter Page. These people are part of the entire coup and need to be held accountable in court. ABC, NBC, CBS are not showing Horowitz. They are complicit in this illegal activity. They are corrupt along with the deep state. They are one and the same. And it says here, will NBC Nightly News, CBS Evening News, ABC World News cover the hearing detailing FISA abuse at the FBI as voraciously as they covered anything else that's anti-Trump? They will never do it. This is what Tracy's talking about. And then we can see here, why hours after the election did 7 people travel to an undisclosed location to hold a very private and highly secured guarded meeting? Clapper, Yates, Rice, Lynch, Brennan, James Comey, Andrew McCabe. A lot of familiar names that just keep repeating, right, guys? They're all going to jail. And we all know that Greta Thunberg, or whatever her name is, the global warming brat, always out there complaining. Oh, she was on the front of Time magazine. But we all know it's a bunch of horse, you know what, because the Time magazine is the same thing as the Mockingbird media. It's all left-leaning. It's all biased. But I think who should have been on that front page would be the real person of the year, Devin Nunes, who fought and fought and fought, going on TV every day, trying to get the point across to the American people that, hey, corruption is taking place in the highest parts of government. Then we could see here, no one is showing Horowitz. None of them. Look at this. All of these TVs, nobody, no Horowitz, nothing. This is crazy, my friends. They are complicit with the deep state and should be taken out. As we can see here from Steve Guest, after giving their airtime completely over to Jerry Nadler and Adam Schiff for the past few weeks, CNN is not airing a damn thing the start of the Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Horowitz's IG report. They don't even want to show it because they're complicit in it. Pissing me off. We can see here, Grassley asked if Obama knew about the counterintelligence investigation. Horowitz says he doesn't know the answer to that definitively because this investigation was over the FBI and DOJ. This is exactly, my friends, why Durham is looking into everything. Horowitz does not know everything. Remember, Horowitz, Durham, and then Barr, my friends. And the Durham investigation, the Durham report, will come out probably in spring of next year. So we have a lot of time, guys, to get more evidence, to push this out into the mainstream. Don't stop pushing this out onto social media, guys. Again, from Tracy Beans, they are trying to get Horowitz to say that there is no bias anywhere, and he refuses to do so, stating, in terms of the opening, yes, but there are a lot of concerns about the FISA process. This is huge, my friends. And finally, from Tracy Beans, the left is doing anything and everything to avoid talking about the FISA abuse. It is nearly the entire report, and they've chosen to focus on 10 pages. We have Horowitz, and several times the decisions were made based upon what they had access to. He made a point to also say that he didn't look at the entire Crossfire hurricane investigation, only the parts he was tasked with. Senators on the left are using this to slander U.S. Attorney Durham and AG Barr, stating there is, in quote, no way that they could have more info than Horowitz has. Impossible, they say. Newsflash, they have much more than Horowitz had. You know that. You can only prolong the inevitable, my friends, a bit more before you are exposed to the American people will be brought to the forefront, my friends. And guys, this was an astounding podcast. There's so much information in this, so please, guys, please share this on all social media. If you found this informative and you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to leave a like. You can also donate to this channel by going to my PayPal, Patreon. We have a P.O. Box and True Reporting merch. Don't forget also tonight from 8 to 9 p.m. we have a lot to discuss when I have a live call-in show 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so make sure you spread that far and wide as well. Guys, I will talk to you all tonight. Have a wonderful afternoon. Always know God is in control and he will take good care of you, my friends. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.